Good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to VizConnect. My name is Sagar Kapoor. I'm a part of customer success team at Tableau. So VizConnect is all about connecting you with the art of data visualization and storytelling. So in 2019, with the help of one of the Tableau ambassador in India, Divya Bharti, it started as a small community project, and our whole vision was how exactly we can connect of our community with respect to best practices, tips, and tricks. So far, we have hosted 34 sessions. We had 39 speakers in that. Out of that, 10 Zen Masters were there. We had close to 6,000 attendees so far. We have a YouTube channel in which we have close to 800 subscribers, a LinkedIn group in which we can go ahead and talk to each other. And this has been possible with the help of amazing community. They had been so kind enough to come and present on this day. And that's the power of connecting with the community, right? And feedback talks about it, like how exactly we are creating an impact through this connect sessions. So as I was talking about it, this is our YouTube page. Go ahead, subscribe to it. Some amazing content waiting for you. And this is our LinkedIn group. By the name of VizConnect, go ahead, connect to each other, and start talking about data visualization and storytelling. So as we are a data company, we love trying to understand how exactly we can make an impact through VizConnect. And you can see for this session, we have attendees across the globe, and we have close to 83% who are attending VizConnect for the first time, right? So welcome to them. And one thing which I am passionate about is educating everyone why Tableau public profile is must, right? And how exactly it will help you in data visualization journey of your career. So our today's speaker will also talk about why it is necessary to have a Tableau public profile. And just to make our sessions more impactful, we'll go ahead and try to understand on which particular version of Tableau desktop you are. And today I will be talking about Tableau 2020.2, some exciting features which I am will take you through it. Without further ado, let me just hand it over to Judith, who will introduce our today's speaker.
Yeah, thanks, Sagar. So I'm Judith Becker, and a couple of weeks ago, I was presenting here on VizConnect, and I stated that I won't rest until my greatest pusher, Tamas Varga, gets the fame he deserves. Because he's the type of guy who was already 80% done with his Makeover Monday submissions by the time I managed to get myself in the office and I was like searching for coffee. Thinking, how does he do that? So I'm really happy to present you Tamas Varga today, who's going to be talking about his amazing Makeover Monday journey. Make sure to pop your questions in the chat so I can ask them in the Q&A session, because I have tons of myself, so beat me if you can. And after the Q&A session, Sagar will talk about the new features of Tableau 2020.2. So stay tuned. And with all that said, I pass the mic to Tamas. So welcome, Tamas, and we are all excited to hear your presentation.
Hello, everyone.
Perfect. And I think without without getting into that, we should talk about your fun fact, right? So Thomas has more shoes than his wife, and as time goes on, it's not that funny anymore. It's a serious problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem, especially when we are moving. Okay, let me start sharing the screen. Okay, hopefully you can see it now.
Yes, we have to put that.
Okay, let's put it in presentation mode. So hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for having me today. As you heard, I'm Tamas Varga, and today I'm here to talk about my journey in, well, Makeover Monday, data storytelling, Tableau, and so much more. Today's topic is happiness in the making, and out to Makeover Monday. Well, from what I already said, you can, well, guess what the ode will be about. Makeover Monday and happiness in the baking, happiness in the making. This will be about also the World Happiness Report that was done a few weeks ago, and I thought that, well, we discussed that, Sagar, that we should share a quick walkthrough on how that report was created. It became so popular, I never even expected to have it like that. So thank you all for well, liking it. So, well, without any further ado, let's jump into today's topic. Let's start with the introduction. First of all, who am I? Well, I'm a family man, first and foremost. A really happy husband, and soon to be a father of my second child as well. He's coming in July, so it's a rather busy time of the year now. Uh, what I can tell about myself, I'm really into, well, guitars. I'm an awful guitar player, but I really love them, so I own a few. I'm really into sci-fi and fantasy novels, so if I have free time, which is really rare nowadays, I really like to read. And when I had time for sports, I also did bouldering, indoor rock climbing. It was my kind of sport. Besides these, what I can also tell about myself is that I'm a true introvert. I really take it hard, for example, to present. So at the moment, I'm, well, I think more nervous than excited, but I'm also really excited. So if you hear my voice pitch shifting all the time, it's not because of connection errors. It's because I'm that, uh, well, nervous at the moment. And I'm also an imposter syndrome wannabe. I'm nearly sure that I live a life of a true imposter syndrome guy. I'm always thinking, what am I doing here? And well, what did I deserve to be here anyways? So that's how I spend my days usually. Let's see, how did I get here? Just to give you a bit of background about me. Well, I think my journey is, well, usual, I would say. Uh, I started learning sociology with strong interest in, well, civil activism and politics, which is, well, really not the time to do so. So I was really, well, surprised that I get no job on the job market. So I joined a media agency doing reporting, Excel everywhere. I did that for a few years and I met Tableau there, and I know that, okay, that's the one thing I would like to do. I had enough of Excel. Let's go with something more visual, well, more features, more possibilities. So leap of faith, I became a business analyst, where I realized that the life of a business analyst is really, well, a broad range of tasks. So again, switching a bit, and I became commander of the world's greatest data viz team. No offense here if you share the same feeling with your data viz team. That's my personal opinion of the team that I joined, where I realized that, well, Tableau is capable of a lot of things that I had no idea about, and I still have this feeling today. And nowadays, I'm a data viz expert at a big four company, whatever expert means. Well, I'm the guy who's doing Tableau all the time. So that's me and how I got here. And last section, people I'm enormously thankful for. Of course, family. Without them, I could not be here today. And friends and former colleagues who are, well, I'm lucky to have as friends. As you can see, there are a couple of names here that may sound familiar. They are just a few people that I'm really thankful for, but for example, Judith and Ivat, without them, I could not be here today. So thank you, and all the other guys, if you hear this. Okay, that was the introduction. So some elevator music, and let's get it started. Makeover Monday, how I got here. On Makeover Monday, what it is and how it works, I don't want to spend too much time. If you'd like to learn more, visit the VizConnect series, season 2, episode 1 with Ava Murray, who is one of the great masterminds behind Makeover Monday. She covers the whole topic more in detail than I would. Okay, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. These are all covered in the aforementioned session, but there are a couple of things that I would really like to talk about. These are challenging myself, finding the story and telling it, basically how I learned about data storytelling, breaking and bending the rules. This is how to apply best practices and how to break them, because you can do that. It's that environment to do so. I also had a good lesson about data visualization ethics, so I will have a few words about that. And I will also talk a bit about how it's a cure against burnout and boredom, or as my wife stated, getting dashboard. Sorry for that. So let's go with the first point. Challenging yourself. There are a couple of things that I can talk about here. First of all, having a routine and keeping the timing is something that Makeover Monday gives me, and it's a fantastic thing. Every Monday morning, wake up, walk the dog, have a breakfast, check the working emails, and if nothing comes in, then I will start working on the new Makeover Monday topic. It's always really exciting what will be the next topic to visualize, how it can be visualized, what are the already pre-made visualizations. So it's always a great surprise every morning. And as I mentioned, there are a couple of topics that already covered. Since I joined in 2018 October, there were several topics: economics, climate, sustainability, demographics, and many more. And what I can tell about this is that Makeover Monday is a really great place to immerse topics that you are not familiar or comfortable with. In my case, it's sport visualizations. I'm naturally good in that topic. As you can see, my completion rate based on my statistics is 67%. So I really need to do a better job on this. That's why it is marked with a great black bar. So I need to focus on that, because if you can cover all topics, then you can use that in your professional life as well. You can't really be surprised with what work will come along with the new clients. What else is it good for? How you can challenge yourself? You can improve ideas from Viz to Viz. This is just a really simple example. Classic way, date selector, you select the dates you would like to visualize the data for. Then I realized, what about creating such a visual timeline where you select a given point in time and visualize data for that? I started using that, and then, well, recently came up with the idea for myself to use a much more minimalistic timeline. Right now, I'm usually using this kind of solution to select a given point in time for parameter actions or just filtering. So you can always do that. Come up with a new idea, implement it. If it works, it works. If not, then you can let it go. Also, what else can you do? You can find a style that fits you and then do something totally different. As you can see, I used a couple of different kind of dashboards, backgrounds, light, dark, multiple, with pictures, and so on. And recently I started using gradient backgrounds. Thanks, Judith, for getting hooked on it. So yeah, right now that's my type that I'm working with. I will certainly change it sometime in the future. But as you can see, there are a couple of examples here how I apply that: long forms, classic desktop versions. Sometimes it works out pretty well. Sometimes, well, it's not. And this is the last point here at the challenging section. This is the what I call learn to fail and fail to learn. You can see here there are a couple of visualizations that I've done. This is long time back then in 2018. Well, the colors are beautiful, the fonts are beautiful as well. So no, it's not really worked out. And this is a recent one. As you can see, even the exported images crashed, glitchy. So yeah, bad fonts, bad coloring, bad chart use. So that's something you learn along the way, and I would encourage you to do so. don't be afraid to, well, fail with the visualization. I think that's the best way to learn what works and what's not. And that was the first point. Let's go with the data storytelling point of view. There will be less examples here. What I would like to really emphasize here that is Makeover Monday is just a great initiative to learn how to tell stories. You are just focusing on one chart or just several charts, and you really try to push through the message with it. And by creating, well, as Brent Dyke says, the right narrative, the right visuals, and the right data, you can really create something that catches the eye, something that really engages the users. And well, if you're lucky, it also starts to drive change. This is just a simple example here when you add a lot of context into the visualization you create. So don't be afraid to do so. The more context you provide, the more easily the users will understand what you do. So that's something that really pushed me towards the data storytelling point. And I'm trying to push this also to when I'm talking with clients nowadays, that it's not just the data-driven decision making, that's a great buzzword, but also you need to look out for your end users to create something that's really memorable, that's really persuasive for the users, because they will use then the BI tool. If it's just really a data discovery tool, but they don't know how to use it or what it says, it won't really work out well. Okay, let's jump to the third point, breaking and bending the rules. I got an important notice here, and it's about best practices, so look out for them. Best practices are something that we really need to stick to when we create visualizations in our professional life. Let's say it like this. We really need to look out for the right labeling, providing the context, choosing the right representations, and so on. But in some cases, especially in Makeover Monday, you can, well, experiment with what you would like to visualize. And there are, well, some examples for me that when I experimented with different ideas. This is about waste on the UK beaches. Here, the visualization only has a demonstrative purpose. It's really the message that needs to get through. Data points does not mean anything. They are totally randomized. It's really what we would like to tell, how crowded, for example, a beach can be with waste all around. Example 2 is when you get an artistic rush of blood in your head. And for example, I created this dashboard that would totally be useless in a business context, but I created something minimalistic, something really simple, just to trigger user interaction. So nothing is labeled, nothing is told, only the title, and users need to well, discover what it is about, what is visualized. The third point is when you focus on patterns and you visualize everything in the data set. And well, let's see what works out and what's not. For example, this is about gender equality and unpaid work, and all the different lines are different countries. And it's about the unpaid workload for men and women. And well, it's chaotic, but adding some right colors, it will tell a story about inequality. Well, hopefully well, let's say like this. So this is about breaking and bending the rules. I would again encourage everyone to do so. It may work out, it may not, but we should give it a try. Okay, what else do we have here? 4 point. That's a really personal story, how I learned a good lesson about data visualization ethics. When we talk about ethics, we usually come up with how we visualize the data, how we distort what we would like to show. So here's the ethical switch for this really simple bar chart. it's the non-ethical view that you can see here. And when we talk about data visualization ethics, is that, for example, we use the right axis starting from 0 labeling to provide as much information as possible to make the comparison for our data points clear and simple without, well, cheating on it. On the other hand, there's another aspect of data visualization, and so sorry for this title. I really would like to emphasize what I like to talk about here. It's basically something that I learned from Adam Miko, and thank you for that. When there was a topic about suicidal statistics in the UK, and well, I also, as a sociologist, I went on and thought about, oh, that's a really interesting statistics. I will visualize that, and whoa, I will show the different age groups with the different suicide rates and so on. And then I saw Adam's notice on his dashboard that if you're looking for, if you're affected by this and you're looking for help, then you can contact people. And he provided a certain section with information on helplines and so on. And that was something that I never ever thought about that before. And that was such a shock that I forgot about this, because it affects people who look at this dashboard. And that was a really hard lesson and a good lesson. And for example, that's why I didn't create any COVID-19 dashboards in the past 2 months, let's say, because there were a lot of articles about, okay, there are a lot of good data sources for that, but will you visualize it? Will you provide the right context for the numbers? Because I saw a lot of, black maps with red dots, all with death rates and statistics. And it was really shocking that, okay, I got it. We would like to visualize data, but look out for that, how we provide this context, because these are serious times and it's a sensitive topic. We should really look out for that. And this is just 2 simple examples on what I learned about data ethics, data visualization ethics in the past 2 years. And something a bit more, less hard topic is Makeover Monday for me is a great cure against burnout and boredom, especially for burnout. As I think many of us had this feeling when working on a project, and it doesn't really turn out how we want to visualize things, how we would like to design, what are the best practices that we would like to apply. And many times it can get really stressful when we can push through our ideas, or we have to visualize things that we don't think really works out. In this case, Makeover Monday and creating this visualization gives us a helping hand. For example, in my case, and I got really relieved by this. And basically, that's the 5 reasons that I wanted to talk about. In my case, hopefully you could read this thing easily. To be honest, I thought it would be a great experiment to do the whole presentation in Tableau. So, I hope it worked out. And now let's get to the fun part. As I mentioned, I would like to give you just a quick tips and tricks session on how the word happiness report was created. And for that, this is the report. Just a quick reminder what I've created. And there are a couple of things that I would like to mention to create such a report. First of all, you need a great tutorial to follow. If you just don't come up with the idea, how can you visualize all these data points? Today's session is not that tutorial that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the tutorial that I used. So I did not come up with the idea. So all credits goes to Tableau Magic in this case. Tableau curve lines by the great Hong. So thank you for that. I use this tutorial as the building blocks for my visualization. So, well, all credits go there. What else do you need? Some data preparation is needed. I will show you that because I think that's something that is easy to recreate and maybe interesting for you. Also, you need to create some gradient background color outside of Tableau. You can use PowerPoint, Adobe Illustrator, Figma, or any other, well, similar tool for that, because there's just a little subtle background here just to give more layers to the visualization. And of course, there's the last part. That's for me, that this visualization is really smoke and mirrors. So it's really tricky and simple to create. So the real stars are, in this case, the transparent background charts. I will show you what I'm thinking of. Okay, let's jump to the tutorial itself. First, I mentioned that some data preparation is needed. So let's go quickly with that. This is the original data set with a lot of additional dimensions and variables that we could use. But in our case, we would only just really need country regional indicator. That's also not really needed. And ladder score. And what we will do, well, how I've done that is basically I hid a lot of columns that I would not need in my case. And there were the segments that give the ladder score, the final score for the happiness for the countries. These are the, well, the additional variables that add up for this. Basically, I use Tableau to pivot these data points and create the dimension and create the value for that. And what else is needed is just basically creating the ranking score for these dimensions. It's really simple to do so happily. I just create the table for myself if I don't mess up the whole thing. Yeah, and then I added the ranking by a simple ranking calculation. And that's how it's done. As usual, it's a table calculation, so it needs to be a bit fixed as we could, because we don't want the country to have a 700 plus ranking when there are 150 countries around. So we just need to fix it a bit, add some, well, restarting every dimension, and now we have the right data. And basically that's what I exported in Excel and then used it as the basis for my visualization. So it's just a minor data transformation for the visual. Simple as that. I won't save it, I already have it. To be honest, I have most of the visualizations prepared here because I really just want to focus on some of the key elements here. So what I like to really show you, just to keep timing, is the line chart that's built here. So I will give you a quick walkthrough on how it's done. There are a couple of things that need to be said here. First of all, to create such a visualization with these sigmoid-based curved line charts, you need to do some additional preparation. So for example, for me, the data set is duplicated, it's unioned with itself. And based on that, there is a path calculation with some simple values that help us to draw out these data points to give these curved lines. I don't really want to go into detail for the calculations because there's the great tutorial and I'm not really a genius when it comes to explaining calculations. I'm also sometimes get lost in advanced calculations. So I will skip that section, but there's a tutorial that you can follow, and well, you can tweak it if you would like to get to the certain result that you would like to visualize. Basically, the line chart that I showed you is based on two different charts. And here comes the trick. One is the line chart and one is the dots that are visualized. So I really cheated here. Let me just quickly build it to show you that after you have the right calculations, it's really simple to do so. You will need the path to draw the lines in a line chart. You will need the dimensions. You will need the index calculation that is provided by the tutorial. And you will need a Y calculation also in our case, and some additional table calculation here, but not much. After you have the building blocks, hopefully it's really simple to do so. I hope I won't mess up. Let's see what we have here. There are a couple of points that need to be fixed. But as you saw, it was just a few clicks following the steps, and just by a blink of an eye, we already have our line chart prepared. This is the basis for the whole thing. I'm just switching some axes to start from the highest rank to the lowest rank countries, and I'm fixing the axis just to make sure that I can align the two different charts that are building up the whole visualization. I just hide a lot of elements that are not needed here. Okay, we are nearly done. There's just some additional, well, parameter-based tweaks here. So for example, we had coloring that is based on a country parameter. So what is true is drawn out with a different color. And also I use this indicator for the sizing as well. It's really easy, just a few things to look out for. For example, true is always the second. So false is always the bigger size if you don't switch reversed. So it's a bit tricky, but it's easy to learn. Some minor tweaks that should be done around. We need to get rid of all the different lines. That's my favorite part, when I just try to remove everything from the picture and get to this simple and clear view here. And when it's done, we can put it on a dashboard layout, simple and easily. Just create something that is big enough for the work that we are trying to do here. And then just start to add our visual elements without title, without any additional visual noise, let's say. And we just add our visual here. And well, the other part of the visualization is the dots that are visualized. For that, it's really simple. There's no additional table calculation or anything here. We just add dimensions, add the ranking, and add the country indicator for the values. That's it. It's simple as that. So I didn't want to, well, steal steal your time for that. Let me just add it. And thank God for having transparent background charts. We can easily switch both to transparent, and we can start to align these two. Simple as that. Let's have some usual sizes. Okay. Hopefully after it's done, we can start to align this. And well, here's the trick. Simple as that. Two charts on the top of each other. Simple as that. So it's really just, well, cheating with transparent backgrounds, but hopefully it works out and you can put together a chart like this. Design-wise, what I've done, just to get to the original one, because I don't really want to, well, spend all the time here with adding additional lines here. Basically, what's done here is that I used this section of the visual where all the lines come from one root. I could have hid it and just have this section, just really the rankings, but I decided this looks so cool having this beautiful wave here. So I basically just extended it with an additional element and then added the ranking title for it to have a nice flow for that. And then I just aligned this jittered bubble chart under the given section. This is really a simple thing to create. It's you add the score, you add the countries in colors and details, and then you just use. And this is well, if you haven't seen this kind of jittered bubble chart, it's really simple. Not this one, this one. Sorry for the confusion. You just use this index that is computed along the country name, simple table calculation, and now the dots are scattered like this. It gets more easy to visualize all the different data points. And basically, that's the most of it. I added the titles for the uppercase letters by hand in a container aligned with the chart below, and well, that's it. The parameter then, well, it's like a charm, simple as that. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully, well, it was fun for you. It was entertaining. Maybe it was useful as well. Well, thank you for your attention. That was the main story that I wanted to tell you and how it was done.
This was amazing. I'm your biggest fan, and you know that, and I'm sure the others feel the same. We have a couple of questions besides the tons that I have myself. So if your question hasn't been answered, make sure to reach out to Tamas on Twitter, because he will answer you. But let's
Absolutely.
get into the future. Yeah. So let's get into the questions. My first one is that what's your favorite piece you've done so far? Because as for me, my favorite piece of yours is Americans having sex, because the simplest one and it's just amazing to look at. But what's your favorite?
Okay. Well, my favorite is always the latest. Let's say it like this. But well, my particular favorite is 3 weeks ago, the Operation Fistula Madagascar visualization. Let's say by accident I was able to create well a really nice coloring it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
If it's okay to share it, yeah. So I just really like that subtle yellow that really worked out well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm sure people love it. I mean, this World Happiness Report is amazing. I love the colors. I love everything about it. But you have always these ideas that are so out of the box, like with every visualization you have. So it's really hard to choose. But do you struggle with visualizing topics that you don't feel really close to?
Absolutely, sure. Yeah. That's why I'm trying to do as many as I can to somehow tackle data viz block all the time. Yeah. That's something, especially I, because I like to come up with well, as you mentioned, outside of the box ideas to give it a twist. And sometimes it's so obvious how to visualize something that I'm really stuck with. Okay, how will I turn this all around?
Yeah, and really, it's incredible that you have these ideas. I mean, I'm really envy for this.
We
But
share the
how
same
much
feeling.
yeah, how much does it take to get a visualization done? Like, I know it has different elements and that requires different preparations, but on an average, how much do you spend on doing a Makeover Monday with?
Well, coming up with the structure is always that takes a lot of time. So to decide how the charts should be aligned, what charts to use, and when it comes to design, I usually well rush into doing the design. So I don't really experiment with that one. So for example, for the World Happiness Report, this purple color that is really well exciting here is just, well, I just chose that from a list that, okay, let's try it with this one just to have some color. And well, then I just stuck with it that, okay, that looks cool.
Yeah, it does. Um, Let me just read a couple of questions from here. Yeah, someone asked the same as me. Yeah, another one. Do you have some favorite blogs that you follow?
Well, the Flalish twins all the time. Tableau magic. I'm looking out for that information lab. Uh, your blog as well when you post something. That's too rare.
Yeah.
The database database.love that I follow, the Star Schema blog. So yeah, when something pops up, I usually try to follow as many people as I can on Twitter, and when something interesting pops up, I jump into that in that moment.
Yeah. What is the tool you use for creating backgrounds? Is it Figma?
Well, at the moment, yes, I use it because it gives a bit more freedom than PowerPoint that I used previously. Uh, for many years, I used PowerPoint to create such visual elements. So, for example, today's presentations, visual elements that were not based on Tableau were created in PowerPoint. But nowadays, I try to extend my view and started to use Figma.
Actually, we have a question that me myself don't know the answer to, but maybe you. What is the best way to create gradient backgrounds in PowerPoint? Is there a possibility to do that? I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I usually resize the slide size to the given one that I will use for the dashboard, and well, then I just add a solid background picture for the whole, just a simple tile there, and then I start experimenting with the different gradient presets, and when I come to the result that I think will fit it, then I go with it. So it's really just experimenting and clicking all around.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any suggestion for us on using the right colors? How do you get inspired? I mean, you told us about this purple, which is amazing, but do you have some sites or favorite colors, or how do you get yours?
Well, right now I choose colors that I'm not, well, let's say, that I'm not used to. So for example, I used more subtle built-in colors in Tableau. I started to use these more, well, saturated colors like this purple in the past few weeks just to try out something new. But what I can really tell about using colors is that you should choose really the right color for a visualization for. So for example, for a sensitive topic, just as I mentioned for, well, for COVID-19 or the suicide statistics and so on, use something neutral, something that don't really pushes the message, that don't emphasize well, negative, well, messages. So from that point of view, I would have this, well, insight on colors that choose a subtle one when it comes to a sensitive topic.
Okay, so one more question before we head over to the 2020.2 demo. Are you team floating or team containers?
Well, that's always a great question. I'm going with both. Basically, nowadays I use floating containers, but I put charts into containers and then distribute them evenly and fix their size in there. So I started to, well, get it mixed.
Yeah, that's an excellent answer, I guess. And thank you for the presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I sure did. And it will be available as a recording on the VizConnect YouTube channel. Thanks, Tamas, for presenting. And I'm going to just pass the mic over to Sagar.
Thank you for having me.
That was a great session, Tamas. And thank you to you. Let me just go there to my screen. Okay. So, start. So I will just quickly cover up. So what are the important new features we launched in a 2020.2? I think the big release is that we have something called relationship. So now you can go ahead and understand your data and connect different tables in a more friendly manner. I will talk about that. Then we have something called metrics. So when I say metrics, it's all about like if you're reading a newspaper, you have a content and headlines, right? So for dashboards, metrics are your headlines so that you can go ahead and monitor your key KPIs. We'll talk about that. And also we have a set controllers, which is also releasing these features and some more features in Tableau prep and things like that. But let's go ahead and start with relationship, right? And the one thing which I think everyone will agree with me is that when we were going and analyzing a particular set of data, right, trying to cover different joins, whether to blend it, it was a cumbersome task for us, right? Whether I should do an inner join, whether should I have full join, sometimes the data was duplicate and things like that, right? So really what has happened now, we are going ahead and changing how exactly you will go ahead and interact with your data in Tableau desktop. Like so, relationships are basically a new way of combining data that will allow you to enjoy a simpler process of combining tables, a more intuitive analytics experience, streamlined data source management, and I will show you in a demo how exactly we can do that. The next part is historically, as I said that we used to go ahead and combine the data and then analyze, right? Maybe I can start with an inner join, but after analyzing the data, I will just realize, oh, I have missed these data, which is not coming in my data sets. Then I will go back, change the join, and it will come back to the analysis again. But now with relationship, you can combine and analyze on a more broader way. So these are flexible, automatic, and contextual. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So this is So as soon as you go ahead and install 2020.2, and let me just go ahead and drag one of the tables over here. So by default, if I go ahead and drag something over here, it will create a noodle, right? And what it does, it will go ahead and Tableau will recommend you, okay, these are the two keys which are similar in that. I will go ahead and join in that. I can go ahead and bring more data to it. I will add the author data. I can go ahead and add edition data over here. And you can see Tableau is literally going ahead and creating a structure for me so that I can do a data analysis in a more friendly manner, right? Suppose I have to go ahead and see, okay, what is the information now? I see that I have the information of the books. I want to go ahead and basically join this table, right? Because I know I can't go ahead and create a relationship with this. So I will now just double click and I can go ahead and join also. So the join capability is not removed, it's still there, but you have to just click on that particular table, use the join, and you are good to go. I see that I have close to 4 tables. Just go ahead and union all these guys. I will just go ahead, drag all these over here. Okay, just go ahead and rename it to sales or something like that. I'll just go ahead and click publisher. Award over here. Now I can go ahead and start my analysis, right? Literally, I can just go ahead and pick a dimension and measure and start doing some analysis. Like maybe I want to see maybe top 10 books by price or something like that. I will just go to the book, the title, I will go ahead, create a set, something like top 10 books by price. And just go ahead, select the price over here. And one thing more, as you can see over here, earlier it was dimensions as a measures over here, right? Which we segregated before. And now it is more with respect to a particular table, you can see the dimensions and measures are over there. So these are the measures and these are all the dimensions over there. So let me just go ahead and titles. I will just go ahead to copy. I can go ahead and do analysis on average rating. Let me go ahead and get rating. So now you can understand, I can just go ahead with another ratings. Okay, I can go back to my analysis. So how easy it is if you have data in multiple tables, you can just go ahead, create a structure using relationship and start doing your analysis. I think that is the biggest feature which we have launched in 2020.2. Go ahead, check it out. I think you will love it and let us know your feedback. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, we just click all these things. It's about set control, right? And now if you go ahead and see set controls, we have a basically you can go ahead and choose your set, whatever should be there in a particular set or not. Let me just go ahead and show to you over here. So you can see I have my customer name, I have my sum of sales, I have top 10 by sales, and literally I can just go ahead and choose whatever I want in my top 10, right? Maybe I'm a person who has a team of 20 people, I can just go ahead and choose who are my top 10 with respect to sales or something like that. The next part we have, which is interesting, is metrics. So metrics, as I was talking about, you can go ahead, monitor your KPIs and your business dashboard. And this, everyone will agree with me. We used to go ahead and do it out of the box, right? We used to create a dashboard. We should have some brand numbers over there, some trend lines just to go ahead and put it into a mobile friendly manner, right? But now you can go ahead and create metrics directly from a dashboard. I will just open a dashboard over here. Let me just go ahead and log into my Tableau online. So literally, all the dashboards I want to go ahead and monitor the KPI, I can just click on a mark and a metrics will be created for it. Suppose I'm a person who wants to go ahead and create the metrics for my sales. I can just click over here, go to metrics, give a description to it, sales KPI, something like that. I will just check, okay, it's the sales, I will just create. Now I can just go ahead over there, put it as favorite in my Tableau mobile, and on the go, I can just go ahead and keep on monitoring all these KPIs. This is, I think, a major release in 2020.2. Just go ahead and check it out. I think I have a couple of more. I think if people are using Tableau Prep. Some interesting news to you. You can now go ahead and connect Salesforce connector. Directly, you can bring the Salesforce data in Tableau Prep and start doing the data preparation. That's one of the things. The next thing is that now in Tableau Prep, it also supports incremental data. So now you don't have to go ahead and run the whole extract. You can just do an incremental refresh in Tableau Prep. And the last thing I will just cover up is just to give a shout out to Mike Colony. He has gone ahead and created this amazing list called Tableau Talent Finder. If you just go ahead and show it to you what it is. So what he has literally done, and so he wanted to help people who are struggling with COVID-19, right? Like many of the people, they have lost their jobs, and he wanted to go ahead and help them in a personal front, how exactly he can go ahead and connect to the recruiter, right? So he created this Tableau Vest. So it's very simple. So if you are looking for a job, just go ahead and enter your details into in this particular Google form. It will ask you a couple of questions, and then if you know if you are hiring or you know someone is hiring, just go ahead and send that link so that they can just fill it up. And literally it will go ahead and help them to connect with each other, right? And that's the beauty of a Tableau community, right? We help each other, we support each other, and I think whatever we can do just to make sure our community members are going ahead and how exactly we can help them, that will be a great push from our side. So I will go ahead and send you out this link. It's called Tableau Talent Finder. Just go ahead, fill it out if you are someone who's impacted by COVID-19. So just one thing which Mark wanted to give a shout out is that it's right now it's just for people who are impacted by COVID-19. So he will encourage those people only to go ahead and fill out this form. And the last thing I want to talk about is Tableau Learning Path. I hope you have already seen it. If you have not, so this is a Viz which I created with the help of Adam Nico, just to go ahead and give a consolidated platform for everyone to have everything with respect to Tableau, right? So you name it, it's over here. If you are someone new, you want to go ahead and start with Tableau, we have getting started with Tableau, create your first Viz, Tableau blueprint, something like what's new in Tableau. So you just want to go ahead and understand what's new in 2020.2, just go ahead and all the information is there. So just go ahead and bookmark this particular Viz. It will be very useful for you. And that's it from my side. If you have any questions with respect to relationship, happy to answer it for you. So my suggestion will be go ahead and try a relationship, try to connect your data, and then you will understand the way you used to do before and the way you can do in relationship. It's like a ETL on a fly, I will say that, right? I think with that, thank you, Tamas. Thank you for presenting on VizConnect. It was an honor to have and present your journey about Makeover Monday. I think I hope people are inspired by you, and it's a journey, right? I think data visualization is a journey, and that's the only way I can go ahead and help people in it, right? Just to bring the right people who can encourage everyone to go ahead and participate in on the Tableau community projects.
Thank you. The honor is all mine. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Divya. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Be safe, take care, enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.